On today's show, we're talking about the top Arizona Cardinals cut candidates for the 2026 NFL season. That's right. This roster is going to look different next year, especially after the draft. And there's a couple players on the chopping block. We will dive into who those are. But I want to ask you guys first to kick us off. Comment one player who will not be on the cards next year. That's right. Get a name in the comment section of an Arizona Cardinal who played last year, won't be here next year. You tell me in the comments section. Show that you know ball. And like I said, I love making this an interactive show. And welcome in, everybody. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue. So real quick, I want to let you guys know that the Cardinals' projected cap space is about $39 million, which would be 12th in the NFL. They are towards the top half in the league. And so they could gear up for an incredible offseason here if they actually decide to go out and spend money. But here are some ways they're going to create that money and open this up. The first cut candidate for the Arizona Cardinals is running back James Conner. That is right, folks. I think time comes to an end for Conner in Arizona, who I think could be a talented back, but he just has an injury history and is probably going to get let go here. The main part of it is also the financials. I mean, it just helps Arizona out if they were to cut James Conner. They would save about $7.5 million in cap space and only take on about a $2 million dead money hit. It's not bad at all. So financially, Conner kind of has them in a bit of a stronghold, and cutting them would set them free of it. He's just an older running back, 30 years old, turned 31 soon, missed 14 games last year due to injury, right? And so that's why you see only 95 yards last season, I like Conner. I don't think it's worth keeping him on the roster. I think you create nearly $8 million in cap space to bring some other pieces in. Or I do wonder, do the Cardinals draft a running back here in the NFL draft? I mean, I got to just throw this out there, and this isn't for this video. So, we'll talk about this another time. But Jeremiah Love, one of the best players in this draft. You talk about just hitting on a pick. Guys like Love, Downs, David Bailey, those are just picks that are going to hit. And I wonder if the Arizona Cardinals think, let's just get a guy who's a stud in Jeremiah Love here, even though it's high for a running back. I wouldn't be shocked if they went out and did that or traded down to do something like that. I don't know, folks. I'm just throwing it out there, okay? Some top running back prospects in the NFL draft. You can also go for a guy like Jadarian Price, Emmett Johnson, Jonah Coleman, a little bit later to pair with Trey Benson, another young running back on that roster who missed some time. I'm just saying, create the cap space for Teps to get a guy on a rookie deal, and they can spend big in free agency on the offensive line. I want your opinion, though, as I always do. Should the Cardinals cut James Conner? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know your opinion in the comment section, and feel free to expand on if the Cardinals should cut James Conner, yes or no. Next one might be a surprise for some people, but Kyler Murray is being listed on the Cardinals cut candidates list here today. And ultimately, there's a few reasons he's here. First of all, it would be the last resort for Arizona. Their goal is to trade Kyler Murray. That's their number one priority here in terms of Kyler's future. If it all comes down to it and the money they might owe him, perhaps they end up letting him go. Here's the deal with Murray's money for right now. He's guaranteed $36.8 million next year. On March 15th, if he is still on the roster, another $19.5 million of his 27 base salary becomes guaranteed. I think Arizona wants to avoid paying him this massive guaranteed bonus, and they're going to try and make this move before March 15th. So if they don't have a team that will trade for him, it comes down to cutting him. Now, what are the cap implications if they cut Kyler Murray? Well, this is why they don't want to have to do this. If they were to do it today or before March 15th, right, you get a dead cap hit of $54 million, and it doesn't save you any cap space to cut him. You're literally just saying, we're moving on because we don't want to keep paying him next year and the year after that. We're just going to take a dead cap hit right now. If you try to do it after March 15th, this is why it gets even worse. Now the dead cap hits $77 million, and you lose $24.59 million in cap savings next year. So you can't let it get to this point. I know Arizona says there's no timetable, and LaFleur says they're taking their time to evaluate these things. You have to make this decision now before you get pigeonholed and locked into paying Murray when you don't know what you want to do with him. This needs to be figured out now. So to sum everything up, they don't want to have to pay Murray all that guaranteed money if they're moving on from him. Now, the ideal situation is trade Kyler and save money in cap space. I mean, they would literally save about $35 million in cap space by trading Murray. But if no one will trade for Kyler, they may just have to cut him before that bonus is guaranteed. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. It basically just further shows that they need to trade Kyler desperately now. He's also owed $78 million over the next 2 seasons combined. And if he is just not your future, if he's not in your future plans, Arizona's not trying to keep paying him. So they're going to do what they can to move off from him. So I would like you guys to predict this here. Do they cut Kyler Murray? Type C for cut, type T for trade, or type K for keep? You let me know in the comments section. If you're saying K for keep, then you're running with Kyler Murray as the guy for the next couple years because you're not paying him to sit there. So let me know what you think is going to actually happen. Like I said, dream scenario is just you just trade him and free up the $35 million. But I'll let you know what Arizona does. That's why you hit that subscribe button so I can keep you updated. Next cut candidate for the Cardinals is Dalvin Tomlinson, the former Cleveland Browns defensive tackle. Actually spent a year in Arizona last year. And let's talk a little bit about what cutting Dalvin Tomlinson could mean for the Cardinals. Again, this would be a move that frees up a lot of money for Arizona, more than Connor, actually. If you designate him as a post-June 1 cut, you save $14.5 million here for the offseason to go spend how you like it. You could do it pre-June 1 as well. If you're not, desperate for an extra $5 million, might as well get that out of the way and just cut him now before you hit this offseason and you can start running. Either way, it's freeing up a lot of cap space for Arizona. And Dalvin Tomlin's production last season, it definitely went down. It's not like he was a non-factor. I wouldn't say that. But only 1 sack, 26 tackles in 17 games, no forced fumbles. There certainly was some regression. It's not the same player. He's aging, I would say. And that is definitely why I would list Dalvin Tomlinson as a cut candidate for the Cardinals because he's 32 years old now. Regressed. Stats weren't as great last year as they have been in some years past, especially a few years ago. I would also point out that the draft class this year is loaded with D-line talent. In Arizona with the top 3 pick, they might just go best player available. I don't know that Maui Noah is the save the franchise answer here. If he's just a solid tackle, well, you might just get a game-changing player like David Bailey, like Ruben Bain here. Those defensive linemen are going to be studs. Maybe you take a shot on Akeem Mesidor later as well. A little bit of an older player, but he was dominant when he was out there for Miami. So I think Arizona is going to cut Tomlinson to free up the money, and they'll get replacements for him easily in the draft. One more cut candidate for you guys today, and that is Sean Murphy-Bunting, who at one time was a Super Bowl winning cornerback, is now on the Arizona Cardinals. And unfortunately, we didn't get to see him play last year. And so cutting Sean Murphy-Bunting seems like a reasonable move for Arizona. It's not like he's old, but he's pushing 30. Saves the Cardinals $7.2 million in cap space as well. I mean, Arizona could be one of the teams that frees up more than anybody if they play their cards right, especially if they trade Kyler. Then Bidwell finally can spend and bring in some people to change this thing around really quickly, quicker than other people think is possible. And like I said, he missed the whole year last year after getting hurt. So, do you even know if he's going to be the same player? Maybe you just cut him, free up the cap space. And Arizona, they're trying to get younger, okay? They are trying to get younger, and that's why I listed Tomlinson as a cut candidate as well. And that's what I think could be a realistic possibility for the Cardinals this offseason. Weigh in for me. Comment the number 1 candidate for the Cardinals to cut this offseason. I want your opinion. Please let me know. Number 1 person you think could get cut? That's my list of the top 4. Appreciate you all watching Cardinals Today by Chat Sports. Hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out when I've got Cardinals content for you guys. Help me, help you. Give out free Cardinals content. I appreciate you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video.